Hello, dudes, dudettes, and everyone out there, and welcome to another Stormbound video. I think that I messed up badly, and the reason is because all of the stupid and dumb challenges that I have been doing in the last days, I didn't realize that my hero score was getting so low. Therefore, I didn't get the hero's chest. Oh my god, I didn't get the biggest chest. I am so dumb. Maybe on the last days of the month I should just do normal stuff or just trying ranked in a bigger scale, but well, I don't really mind that much. It's just basically one legendary less, and sometimes I don't really get what I need, so it's fine. Okay, we get diehards. If your opponent is using a lot of spells or troops that have an ability, this card can be really good, or at least they can stop the opponent from getting rid of a troop so easily, therefore allowing you to have a lot of strength. And yeah, this can be a good card if you manage to use it well, but there's a spell that I think costs 4 mana that just destroys this but activates its ability, so basically you multiply this for 2 and activate its ability, so yeah, it's pretty fine if you manage to do it well. Personal servers, pretty good, giving strength to a friendly unit. It can be useful sometimes, especially in a construct deck. Divine Reptiles, one of the newest cards. I enjoy these cards effect, but sometimes it might not be that useful, especially if there's a lot of AoE that can get rid of everything so easily, but you can use this card pretty well. Harpies of the Hunt, pretty fine. They got buffed, I think, this patch. 1 more strength, so yeah, we might as well check it out sometime. Head Start, it got reworked, I believe, because now they got it. Was it at max level? It costs 1 more mana but gives also 1 more strength. I think that's it. It will be fine to check it out sometime. Blizzard Bombs, pretty good if you're using Frozen, Winter Pack Frozen deck. Dress Funds, incredibly well, going with Queen of Hearts or a lot of Satyr decks, but Queen of Hearts got reworked as well, I believe so. And this card might be on hold for until later inspection. Indicators, pretty good if you're using a cheap damage deck, pretty good to use. Noble Vigilantes, and unless it's the role in which you use a lot of knights, you cannot really use this card that much, but if you're actually running a knight deck, it might be really good. Finite Loopers, very good with constructs. It got buffed last patch, I believe. Now it got 1 more strength in the spawn, so it's pretty fine. Temple Guardians, I don't see this card that much, but you can use it if you use Guardian the Lightbringer to use a lot of structures or temples, so you can use get even more strength out of it. Rapid Mousers, good finisher. Draconic Roamers, pretty good in dragon decks, but it having 4 strength instead of 5, like usually at max level, can be detrimental sometimes, but it's still pretty good. Bringle Serpents, a very good dragon, especially in dragon decks, and if you manage to get both of these attacks giving health to your units, it might be better. Red Frogs, pretty good in Shadowfen, a pretty useful card. Debug Loggers, very strong if you manage to get another troop to get health with, and good with construct decks. Freebooters, there's the burst card that can combine with Winter Pack decks, so you can cycle a lot of cards when you have a lot of mana. Lost Sykes, I don't really use or see this card that much, but if you're running an ancient deck, it might be extremely useful, because it has a very good strength for the mana cost, but yeah, the RNG might nerf it a bit. Unstable Build, pretty good with the spell that grants health to surrounding friendly units if they are surrounding a structure, because it is so cheap. Veterans of War, nothing much to say, pretty good strength, but sometimes hard to use because of its high mana cost. I think that this is one of the worst legendaries that you can get, Temple of Space, unless you're using Guardi or something related to troops getting a buff with structures nearby, but it's somewhat weird, and in its effect it's not that great, but it can be useful sometimes. Void Surgers, I think it got buffed in one of the latest patches. So yeah, there was a time that it was broken since it did so much damage for with an insane amount of strength, but it's now that it got nerfed later, and now it's buffed again, but not as much. So it's in a good position, I believe. Wetland Deceivers, I don't really use these cards. It's not that good. I will not recommend to use this card that much. It is not that good. Very good in Dragon decks, especially, of course, the Shadowfen, but if you manage to keep this one alive, as they are building a lot of stuff, since it doesn't move, you can get a lot out of it. Blast with Prawn is extremely strong, in my opinion, because I mean, yeah, it has a limiter, which is it doesn't have. If it has too much strength, it doesn't work. But come on, you can use it on a weak card anytime. Like, it's not that hard. Pretty strong. Reckless Rushers, pretty good finisher, but it got buffed. It got nerfed since now it does 2 damage all the way, not only 1. So yeah, that 1 damage in your base might actually be detrimental to you in some cases. So be careful using it, but at max level it's pretty good since it advances 3 spaces for only 3 mana. Father is extremely broken, in my opinion, since not all the time you have something to actually deal with it, not only because it's not strong enough, or you have a lot of cheap things that the only thing that they do when they attack it is buff it, basically. So yeah, if you don't have a good answer for this, it's a nightmare. Pretty good card, because using cards that counter this card are not that common. Tracking Alderman, they used to be broken at some point, but now they're average, I'd say. They're not as good as they used to be. What a shame. Naughty Dog, unless you're using pirates, you don't really use this card, but use it in pirate decks. Fine finisher, but unless you're running some kind of toad deck, maybe, or something that, unless you don't have the 2 mana felines that cost 2 mana instead of 3, this is a very good option. Bang Heralds, very good in Satire decks, giving a lot of health. Fort of Ebon Rock, I don't really use this card, I think it's the only structure in the game that doesn't have a passive. So I don't remember exactly, but I think it is. So unless you're starting this, you don't really use this card that much. Collector Mirrors, one of the best legendaries in my opinion. I already have it at max level, but if you really want something cheap and that can keep the cycle, Collector Mirrors is your option. Even at level 1, it's pretty good. Actually, if you're a beginner and you get this card, try to use it, because it is extremely good having that 0 mana card passive. So yeah, one of the best cards in the game in my opinion. And some Fusion Stones to upgrade some stuff. Now, let's just check the things that I get extra because of the exchange of the cards that I have already maxed out. 850. And let's just see all the cards that I've gotten, and let's see if there's something that it's worth upgrading to max level. I look at Lost Sites and Reckless Rushers, but none of them are max level. Temple of Space, really? I don't really want this card at max level, but if there's nothing else, I have enough gold, I think I will. Just to, get it out of the way. Okay, I got some other cards that I can upgrade to with some... Okay, this only costs 100 gold, so yeah, it's fine to upgrade this. Okay, let's see what else. What else? Mm, 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 Earth Fathers, not maxed out yet. Ah, it seems that I only Temple of Life, so... Wait, how much Earth Fathers? I need not 9 more cards, and I only have 24 Fusion Stones, so yeah. It's not that... Oh, I nailed it. Yeah, since it's the only card that I can upgrade, and having more of these cards will give me just extra gold, yeah, I will upgrade it. I don't have that much cards that are not maxed out, and the ones that are not are mostly level 4. Let's see. I actually want to check. Not really, there are a lot of cards. But yeah, I have most of the cards maxed out. So yeah. Well, let's now check the patch notes that have gone recently. And just to get this out of the way, just opening a Mythic Tome, just because. It is very fun to see this kind of stuff. Okay, Booming Professors, here we have them maxed out. Crazy Bombers, I believe I have them maxed out too. Pretty good, both of them. Crazy Bombers, if you have a lot of AoE, it is incredibly strong, but a little bit expensive. Booming Professors, pretty good at max level. It's, I mean, even in low levels, it can be pretty useful to have that little bit of extra cheap damage if you manage to pull it off. But yeah, the bigger the level, the better. Stoic Protectors, I don't really see them that much, but I believe at max level they have like 7 or 8 strength, so for the amount of strength they have and the occasional good passive that they can pull off, they can be pretty good, but it's situational. Timber Alchemists, unless you're running a lot of things like in Winter Pact or Shadowfen that they can freeze and poison respectively, you don't really use this card that much, but it can be pretty useful if you manage to pull off a lot of stuff. Martyr Spongers, I don't really see this card at all. It's not that good, but if you're running a lot of undeads and ancients, you can love, but yeah, the amount of strength, the amount of mana that it costs is a little bit excessive, but hey, you might actually, if this is one of the few cards you have, you might try to use it this way, because it is a cheap damage card at the end of the day. The Bug Loggers, pretty good, especially if you manage to pull the both of these troops passives. Yeah, it got buffed recently, so yeah, it's relatively strong right now. Spelling the Shivana, it is extremely good to use this with the Icicle, the 1 mana spell that is just that it freezes as a troop. You can get a lot of value out of this, not only using 5 mana and gaining 4 mana in return, but also cycle 3 cards if you manage to use these 3 cards. Pretty good, but try to upgrade it as much as you can, because it won't work if the unit is at least at level 1 bigger than 4 strength. Okay, and finally we are going to be checking the balance changes that are going to be live, I believe, tomorrow. And the reason why it's not today is because of the Eastern days. So yeah, they're going to just take a single extra day to update the balance changes. Feral Shamans at max level is going to gain movement speed. Now instead of just 1, it's going to move twice. And this is pretty interesting in my opinion, because getting an extra movement or losing an extra movement is extremely it changes the card a lot, and the interactions that it has, it will be kind of like a reverse Windmakers basically, because now instead of damage, just damage, well, not reverse, but a different kind of Windmakers, I believe, because now instead of just pushing and doing damage, now it's going to drain the damage and become well, do all the things that Windmakers do, since now it will move 2 spaces. Pretty interesting idea. I'm really curious to see how it will change the card, because I really don't see this card much on only on lower elos, but from, I think, even like platinum and above, you don't really see this card much. So seeing it gain movement is extremely weird, but also very interesting. I'm really interesting, and a little bit excited to see how this will change the card. Also, Harpies of the Hunt is getting buffed as well. Basically, at all levels, the strength is going to get increased by 1. So at level 1, it's going to get 5 strength, and at max level, it's going to get 9. Which is also very, very, very interesting. Having a 3 mana card with triple the value. For every mana you get 3 strength. So basic, well, not at level 1, but I'm referring like at level 5. So yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting to see. We shall see how it goes. Another buff goes to Jouste Champions, which is one that is extremely good. I am very interested to see, but now this card, if it wasn't a finisher before, now it will be, since the movement with this card too is going to be changing from 2 to 3. For 7 mana, you can do a total of 21 damage if it's like 3, let's say, kind of low strength cards in a row. You do 3 damage to them, and now they can go to the base way easily, way more easy with that. They can bulldoze through your troops if they want to go to the base. They don't do this additional damage to the base. This is just the base strength that actually gets to do damage to the base, but still, 3 movement for just champions instead of 2. This is going to be very, very, very interesting to see. I am more than sure that this card will become one of the finishers, like another kind of rival to Twilight Prowlers, which is this one. I think they're going to rivalize a lot, since this can do a lot of damage and defend a lot in the base, but this one can actually finish, even though it costs 1 more mana. So yeah, we shall see how it goes. We also got a buff to Wisp Clouds at maxed level. Well, at all levels they're going to get an extra 1 strength. So now at level 1 they have 2, and at level 5 they will have 6 strength. I think this is pretty justified, because unless the troop that you see is frozen, this card is just like a worse gifted recruit, so giving them an extra strength in that specific scenario is pretty justified, since the passive remains the same. It's just the base strength that changes. I really like that change. Not much to say about it, just a little bit of flexibility to a card that has one purpose. So yeah, a little bit of extra on a card that really does not affect the interactions a lot. It is pretty good in my opinion. And now we're going with one of the most interesting changes that I've seen. Head Start is getting I believe this is a rework, because now the amount of mana that Head Start will cost is going from 2 to 3. So the mana is 1 more now. Well, it will be tomorrow. It's going to go to 3. It's more expensive now, but the strength is augmented at all levels by 2. So at level 1 they will have 5 strength for 3 mana, and at level 5 they will have for 3 mana 9 strength. A similar change from Harpies of the Hunt. Very interesting. Now you won't have as much pressure way too early in the game, since it just costs 2 mana, but now you have even more strength for a reasonable amount of mana. And seeing how much cards do AoE damage, now this one can be one of the cards that can survive. So I think they reduced the kind of like the early pressure, but more of like a different kind of card that is cheaper, that you can use mostly in the later stages of the game. That's the impression that I'm getting. A pretty interesting change, and I really wonder how people will react to this one. We will see how it affects the card, because you see it pretty often in some Swarm decks, so yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. Another satire that is going to get changed is, well, let me find it. It's Trusty Shepherds. So, Trusty Shepherds, they will also have a kind of a reward, you could say, because now at every level, you see in here at level 3, different from level 2, you get 3 strength from other 4 friendly units, but now at all levels without exception it will get reduced to 2. Now even at level 5, the strength that you get for each friendly unit, it changes from 3 to 2. That got nerfed, but the base health that the troop has gone up from here in level 3. It remains the same from level 2 to 3. It gets to 3, but now with tomorrow's balance changes, it will get increased to 4. So at max level, it's basically the strength that you gain gets nerfed by 1, and the base strength, it gets buffed by 1. So basically at level 5 you gain 2 strength for each other 4 friendly units, but you get 6 base strength instead of 5. A little bit of change on both specs of the card, which I don't really think will change it that much. But now, if you have it at lower level, I think you will get more value out of it, since now base health, it is more reliable, and the amount of strength that you get, if you do not have that much troops in the board, it will be more useful. Or maybe it's like a nerf for how some people use it with Queen of Hearts, in which boom, they just appear and out of nowhere it has, let's say in a perfect scenario, it gets 27 strength for a card that you get to use freely. So in the best case scenario. So yeah, pretty interesting. We shall see how it works, how it will affect the card. And I believe that's... oh no, there's one more card. The last card, this is a weird one. I am not entirely sure how it will work, but Queen of Hearts is getting reworked once more, I guess. Or maybe it's a straight up nerf, I am not exactly sure. The way that Queen of Hearts is going to work right now is that now it is made to play at level 1 it's going to be 2, at level 5 it's going to be 5 strength non-hero satires, which means that now it's changed from how it used to be. Before it was only common or rare satires. You couldn't use, let's say, the 6 mana. Wait, what was the name of the card? You couldn't use Box of Wasteland with Queen of Hearts, because commoners, it only spawned common or rare satires, and this Box of Wasteland is epic. A Box of Wasteland you couldn't use, but now you can, because now it activates with non-hero satires, and Box of Wasteland is not a hero, it's just an epic card. But the strength that is set for each of the satires played is going to be 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. And level 1, 2 strength, level 2, 3 strength, level 3, 4, level 4, 4, and level 5, 5. So even though originally Box of Wasteland cost the base strength is 14, with the new Queen of Hearts, you can actually get to play Box of Wasteland, but the base strength is going to get reduced to 5. Same for all the satires played, like Dread Fonts and Swarm Colors, Gathering Troop, Pine Heralds, and all the other satires. That's what I understand of the balance changes that have been shown. I am very interested in seeing how this will affect the card, because one of the things that Queen of Hearts was most useful was for either for a lot of Gathering Troop being used, or a lot of Dread Fonts with Restless, not Double Box, or with what's it called, with siege breakers. So yeah, we shall see how this will affect. I think they did that because it was a straight up no you for the box of Wasteland when this would work the way it is right now. But with tomorrow's update, now you can basically use every satire because the only card that cannot be used with all these effects is Ami, the Consular Ami. This is the only card that I think since forever you cannot play with Queen of Hearts. So now you can use all of the satires, of course, except this one, but the strength of all these cards is going to be reduced. So the amount of cards that you can use Queen of Hearts with is increasing, but the strength of all these troops that you can use is decreased by a lot. And I am not sure, but because it says set strength, the set strength at, let's say, at level 5 is 5 strength. I'm wondering if double box, if Queen of Hearts manages to pull double box off, is going to get 5 and then the effect of 1 or 2 instead of the base strength 4. It is going to be interesting to see what these changes do in the meta and how a lot of these cards work, because some of them are actually very used in the community. So yeah, we shall see how all these effects go. And of course, some nerfs are going to be, some compensation is going to be provided for the players that have Queen of Hearts, Headsword, and Trusty Shepherds, depending on the level that you have those cards. 15 coins and 12 and 2 fusion stones. At level 2 for the rare cards, and level 5 it's going to be 190 coins and 10 fusion stones. And for the ones that have Queen of Hearts at level 1, they're going to receive 1 fusion stone, and I think that's it. And at max level, you're going to receive as customization for Queen of Hearts at max level 300 coins and 50 fusion stones. I don't really mind the changes. I just think that it is going to be interesting to see how it changes the meta. Some tweaks here and there, nothing extremely major, except for just champions. I really think that's going to become a meta card now, especially with winter packs. It's so expensive, so we shall see how it changes. I will be getting my free 300 coins and 50 fusion stones tomorrow. Well, this is just a little bit of tweaks of the new start of the season, both of my progress and the balance changes, so we will have a normal video later. Basically, double video today, just because I want to. Well, thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. And I'll see you guys another time. Keep being awesome. Bye bye.